The change you wish to see in the world, we at GJPC firmly believe that we can bring about positive change in our society and environment when we are all inclusive. Even a small act of kindness can make a big difference, which is why collectively and individually the industry has been contributing generously towards the development of society by supporting various initiatives and projects in the field of education, healthcare, sanitation, and infrastructure building.
Launched in 2014, the Jewelers for Hope initiative by Council has mobilized the entire industry to raise a significant amount of funds to help organizations working in various CSR fields with an extra focus to support the underprivileged. Last year, the gem and jewelry industry contributed 21 crores to the PM's Care Fund to support the country's efforts to combat the pandemic. We work extremely closely with the Surat Diamond Hospital to acquire ventilators, ICU beds, patient monitors and other equipment for an isolation ward for COVID-19 patients. The Council over the years has secured the health of over 5 million industry workers and their families through health schemes such as Swasthratna and Swasthkosh. Since its inception in 1999, the Gem and Jewelry National Relief Fund has constantly provided emergency relief to the victims of national calamities by way of donations, assistance in infrastructure, setting up schools and providing scholarships and many more initiatives. The gem and jewelry industry creates products that touch the emotions of our customers and brings them joy all over the world. But for us, and I can proudly state this on behalf of this entire industry, making a difference to society and playing an important role in nation building gives us priceless joy. To repeat, be the change you wish to see and contribute generously to all council initiatives for the betterment of society and this great country.
It's my privilege to call on stage Mr. Colin Shah, Chairman, GJEPC India, and the founder and managing director of Kama Shakta, one of Asia's largest manufacturers and exporters of diamonds and diamond jewelry. Warm round of applause to welcome him on stage, please.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful evening over here. 7th edition of Jewelers for Hope, and all I can say is I'm sure you all are going to hear into detail about live, love and laugh. But Deepika ji, round of applause for her for gracing us with this wonderful presence of hers. You know, the minute, and Deepika ji, I must share with you that we kept your coming here a little bit under the wraps. And we let people know, I guess, only maybe 3 days back, because generally the way our event works is, so if you see around you, there are 34 tables, right? And we sell these tables, right? So every table we sell for 3 lakhs and we collect money and then we are honoring NGO like yourself every year. So we knew that the minute we announce your name, then we won't know who to sell the table to. So we made sure that first we sold the 34 tables and then we announced your name. So again, a round of applause even for our, I guess all the companies who bought these tables because they bought it without knowing which NGO we are honoring. So, Now, I must say, okay, so coming to, after selling the tables, we did announce your name and then the frenzy it's created in the last 3 days. With the calls we're getting that, why didn't you tell us? We also wanted a table. We want to be visited. So, incredible and pleasure that you're with us today. So, you saw the video and, as council chairman, it's part of my duty. And I must say a little bit about council. So, 8,000 members and going strong. So, I can share with all of you all as my industry colleagues that it's the first time we've crossed 8,000 members. We used to be 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. This year, we've actually crossed 8,000 members. And the number of exporters which are getting converted from our domestic manufacturers is also the highest ever in the last 1 year. So, again, further to our Prime Minister's vision of making this industry $70 billion. We are at 40. They've given us a target of $45 billion this year. And in the next 3 to 4 years, they want us to be at $70 billion. So the Prime Minister himself, believe it or not, is taking a very active interest in our industry. And he's been, meeting through the PMO, making sure that our sector's on track. And one good news for one of the, upcoming sectors is the new lab-grown policy which is coming, and it's on the anvil. So there are 2-3 things which I must share with you all. The lab-grown policy will be out very soon, which is really going to make sure, because he wants to make sure that this is one industry in which we control end-to-end, from making the machine, to manufacturing the rough, to cutting and polishing the stone, and even making the jewelry export, and so that we have the entire value chain in India. While, and since I have De Beers over here, while he's very actively interested, in the lab-grown policy, but I must assure you that in his heart, he's told us in every meeting that we must also do whatever is required to protect the natural industry. It's been with us since 50 years, and he wants to ensure that the jobs that it has created and the phenomenal work which, a miner like De Beers and other miners do stays protected. So, in his heart, that industry goes without. He's, of course, wanting to build the lab-grown, but natural, without any doubt, will also be a very important part in our export story. GI and World Gold Council, thank you very much for being wonderful partners every time, for these, for the council events. Som and Shriram, you're always a phone call away. Always. Always. So, I would really, Sachin, of course, you also, but Sachin, Som and Shriram, wonderful what you all do. So, we already briefly talked about all the charity work which council's doing, CSR book, COVID, GJNRF, defense, earthquakes, Swasth Ratna, Parichai cards. We've done so many things that it's not possible to lose count. But I can only tell you that, as, being fortunately or unfortunately the chairman in this COVID time, I must say that this is industry, this is an industry which has a complete heart of gold and diamonds. But gold, because believe it or not, in COVID or in any other crisis that we've had in the last 2 years, every, I would say, person in this room and even the many other entrepreneurs outside this room, they've always only been a phone call away. You ask them that there's this cause that we need to support, and whatever you need is always available in terms of resources. And I'm not talking only monetarily, but even in terms of help, volunteers, whether we do blood camps. So again, kudos to this industry. It makes, I think, all of us proud just to be associated with people like y'all, who are not only, wanting to grow their business, but is also doing so much for the society at large. Lastly, coming to your cause, Deepika. So when we were going through which cause should we honor this year, and since all of us came out through this COVID, and believe it or not, I guess mental health has been, I would say, a talk of every family dinner, especially because all families got a lot of time this time in the lockdowns. We were all at home, we were reflecting, and in the many hours, we all, I would say, and speaking, I'm not talking just personally about myself, but a lot of other families, that, there was undoubtedly a lot of stress because nobody knew what will happen to their jobs, companies. Believe it or not, the highest number of divorces happened, in that particular time. So I guess everyone went through their share of stress. And it's in those times, actually, we were lucky enough, and since all of us had so much time, and I guess you were on TV a lot in those months. So it struck us at that time, and when we were going through this process of which NGO to honor, we thought there's no one better than Deepika ji because of all the wonderful work you've done. And maybe, I guess even you don't realize it, maybe, okay, I must say that with a pinch of salt, how much you've touched other people's lives and hearts with the incredible work that, all of us, and I can say it for myself also, that we're all very proud to accept our own weaknesses in front of the whole world. You always want to show you're better and, things like that. So when you speak about, your own, I guess, illness and how you overcome it and the way you've spread the word, suddenly, I guess, the whole world has realized that, that maybe there is an issue which needs addressing, because acceptance was maybe the largest issue. And it's incredible the data that, and for, I guess, the audience at large, and for some of you all will obviously see it in detail, but there are 1 billion people in this world who, suffer from some kind of mental illness. In India, there are more than, nearly 200 million people, which is incredible, right? And so that's why it's phenomenal what Deepika ji is doing and how she's making a difference to this world. So last and not the least, I would ask you all, because I don't know whether we'll get a chance to do it again, but please give her a standing ovation for being with us today and for the wonderful work that she's doing.
Thank you so much, sir. At its core, Live, Love, Laugh is an idea, a movement, and a metaphor for hope. Arising from her personal journey, which is very well documented, she's spoken about it very bravely and fantastically. Live, Love, Laugh was founded in 2015 by Deepika Padukone. The foundation combines knowledge and domain expertise to create awareness about mental health, reduce stigma associated with mental illness, and provide credible mental health resources. LLL's programs and outreach are conducted and implemented through partnerships and collaborations. We have a short AV, after which we will call Deepika on stage. So can we have a look at the audiovisual, please?
Some of us carry a greater load than we can handle. Others do not always see our distress and helplessness. Nearly 200 million people in India deal with mental illness. That is 1 in 7 people. And they are often left to cope in darkness, silence and shame. Alone, feeling helpless and hopeless. Live, Love, Laugh is a charitable trust creating a movement of hope for everyone experiencing stress, anxiety and depression. We are here to ensure mental illness does not destroy lives. Hope is at the heart of all we do because everyone needs hope. Hope that there will be a brighter tomorrow. We help reduce stigma towards mental illness by building awareness and providing access to credible mental health resources. Our science-backed programs help spread mental health education, improve mental health care in villages and towns in India, and expand the base of trained mental health professionals in the country.
ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನಪ್ಪ ಇವನು ಒಂತಾನಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಹೊಡೆಯರಿ ಏನಾರು ಬೈದ್ನಪ್ಪ ನನ್ನ ಹೊಡೆಯರಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಿಂದ ತುಂಬ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗಿದೆ.
I was sort of thankful that I knew that okay, now we know what is wrong with me, now we can fix it.
Live, Love, Laugh Foundation is one of a kind, and I was practically relieved that even in India we had a foundation which took care of mental health, like healthcare needs. And now I am very proud to say that I have been to therapy, that it's okay to go to therapy. It's not something to be ashamed of. In fact, I wear it as a badge of honor.
Our efforts have transformed countless lives. Together, we can ensure that no life is lost due to mental illness and that everyone can live, love and love. To find out more, visit the livelovelaughfoundation.org or follow us on social media.
Ladies and gentlemen, she needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. Because the things that she's been doing over the last few years are just so cool and so amazing. She's an actor, a producer, an entrepreneur, and a mental health advocate. We, of course, have seen all of her films. We love all of her films. We all have our own favorites. Shall we do a show of hands? Does anybody want to shout out their favorite? I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to say Piku. Anybody else? This side? Chennai Express, okay. Anybody else? Piku, Om Shanti Om. This is sounding like an auction, like they're going to buy the movies. Bajirao Mastani? Yeah, I heard that also. Ram Leela? Okay, great. So pretty much her entire filmography has been named. See, that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody's got one or the other as their favorite film because all of them have been amazing, and she's been amazing in all of them. And I tell you the one thing that I love seeing, and I don't know if Deepika remembers, but I actually met her first before her career as an actor started. And from that evening in Bangalore Club, at some event when we met, to now, I have seen the city of Bangalore fall in love with her, India fall in love with her, and now as you travel the world and you see all her hoardings all over the world, you say the world has fallen in love with her, and rightfully so, right? In 2018, Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world. She's also on the Time 100 Impact Award for her contribution to film and entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the superstar we have in our midst, Ms. Deepika Padukone. I think we've busted their party by you sitting that side.
It looks like.
आप लोग मेरा solo close-up ले सकते हैं, no problem. That's why Deepika wanted me to sit here.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder they can get. Deepika, thank you so much for being here. You're looking radiant, absolutely, as usual. Can we please give her a big round of applause?
Thank you.
They're a little stunned right now. They're a little stunned. All right, control yourself. थोड़ा dignity से
Guys, please have your soup, really.
मैंने अपने हाथों से बनाया, please have your soup. I just want to tell you people, we are here for a serious cause. We are all supporting it seriously, but we all don't have to be serious.
Correct.
Yeah, we can have some fun
Yeah.
because we're gonna have some fun as well. Deepika, let's first start with why this began, because you took a journey to speak about your own struggles. That was very brave that you did that, very unusual that you did that. Talk us through that period when you were making that decision to speak so openly about this.
Good evening, everyone. You know, you used two words. You said brave and unusual. But when I spoke out in 2014, I didn't think it was brave or unusual. I just felt that I was being honest. Honest with an experience that changed my life forever. And for anyone who's ever experienced mental illness, it can be, I'm not saying it is, it can be a lonely journey. And I think that's when I realized that speaking up is how I wanted to take that journey forward. It was my learning, probably my calling, where I felt like even if by speaking up, if I was able to impact just one life, the purpose would be served. Where in 2022, I never imagined that today, you know, if you asked me in 2014, would I be sitting here having this conversation with you about the incredible work the foundation has done? No. At that point, it was really about just doing one interview on a national television or one interview just to be able to reach out to as many people as possible and share my experience. And then when I did that, it didn't feel to me like the journey ended there. It felt like just the beginning. It felt like there was so much more to say and so much more to do. And that culminated into the foundation and all of the work that we do today.
Wow. If we just go back, and you do so much excellent work with this, I think, like you're saying, if it can impact even one life, of course, when you spoke about it publicly, before that you had to speak about it privately, because we all acknowledge it, and you reach out to somebody, you know, a friend, whoever, to talk about it. And I think that's the first step that people find very difficult to make. So if you can just talk to people about that. Did you face any resistance? Did you face acceptance? What happens in that first step?
So I give all the credit to my mother for recognizing the signs and symptoms, because it just happened out of the blue. I was on a career high, everything was going well, so there was no reason or no apparent reason why I should have felt the way I was feeling. But I would break down, you know, for no reason. I would feel there were days when I just didn't want to wake up. I would just sleep, because sleep for me was an escape. I was suicidal at times. And so having to deal with all of that, and you know, when my parents live in Bangalore, and every time they sort of visited me, even now when they visit me, I always put on a brave front, like everything is okay, and you know, you always want to show your parents that you're fine, you know. And so I was doing one of those things of like, I'm fine, until, you know, they were leaving one day, they were going back to Bangalore, and I broke down, and my mother asked me the usual hygiene questions like, is it a boyfriend? Is it someone at work? Has something happened? And I just didn't have answers. It was none of these things. And it just came from a really empty, hollow place. And she knew instantly. And I think that for me was God sent. And I really hope, and I think that's one of the reasons why I set up the foundation, for us to be able to create that awareness, to be sensitive to the people around us, to look around us. If someone's feeling low, don't just pat them on the back and say, hey, you know what, it's going to be okay, or, you know, hey, you'll be fine. Or just listen to this music or play some upbeat music and think that everything's going to be okay. If you feel, and this is for everyone in this room, if you feel for a prolonged period of time, which is more than 3 weeks, if you feel a feeling of low or sadness, it is recommended that you see a psychiatrist, or at least see a counselor. And my theory is always, I'd rather be overcautious than not. You know, it's the same way when you have, you know, when you have a stomach bug, or, you know, you go and see a general practitioner. You can also go and see a general practitioner. That's one of the things that we do. We're capacity building for our country, because we do not have enough mental health professionals to serve the 1.3, 1.4 billion people. So one of the things that we do is capacity building by educating general practitioners. So I'd say don't ignore the signs and symptoms. Don't ignore when someone's telling you they're feeling low or not feeling okay. Don't sort of brush it off by saying it's just a one-off. So coming back to this, yes, it's my mother who recognized that I needed help. I spoke to a counselor who I knew. Again, I was fortunate to have known someone within our family circle. And from my voice, she could tell that I needed professional help. And then the journey went on. I was put on to a psychiatrist, medication. That sort of went back and forth for many months. I was resistant to that because there was so much stigma attached, A, to mental illness, B, to, you always have these sort of ideas that you don't want to take medication to do with the mind and with the brain, and you're going to lose control. And so that went on for a couple of months until I finally started taking medication and I started feeling better and so on. So yes, it was the immediate people around me knew, but at that point I wasn't ready to tell very many people. It's after I recovered, after many, many months, when I was sitting back and just thinking about this experience that I'd been through, that I felt like I wanted to share my journey with the world.
And through this entire period, I think we can give a round of applause for that, please, everyone. through this entire period, you're getting up every morning and you're still having to put on the war paint and the smiles for the world because you've got to act in movies, you've got to sell movies, you've got to sell products, you're on this high. Geez, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was that difficulty level?
Oh, very difficult.
11?
Very difficult. Yeah, I mean, I can't even put a number to it. To just
Yeah.
have to wake up every morning and to breathe, you know, to eat, to just do the basics was a struggle. So you can imagine what having to put myself out there, be at events, engage with people, perform, obviously took a lot.
So I'm thinking the vision and the mission of the foundation, as you have said, from the time you started it to now, you know, it's obviously grown so much. So what is the vision and the mission now of the foundation at this moment?
It is to give hope, you know, because like I said earlier, it can be a lonely journey. And we're here to say you are not alone. We're here to say we're in this together. When I say we, I mean us, those who experience mental illness, our caregivers, because we believe that they're an equally important part of this journey, and society and community at large. And so giving hope to every person experiencing stress, anxiety, and depression, and to let you know that we're not alone. And it stemmed from the one line, which was, you know, when I put my mind to it, I said, I don't want even one life to be lost because of mental illness.
Wow, beautiful. Tell me, there obviously must be a lot of fulfilling moments that happen when you hear people's stories about the foundation has helped them. Can you recall any, like some fulfilling moments or times when you felt great peace almost that you did this, that you started this, and it's truly helping people?
Every day. There's not a day that goes by when a person doesn't come up to me and talk about an interview that I did, or you know, something that they read or something that they saw that that prompted them to seek help, or encouraged them to tell someone they know to seek help.